So today's fruit of her hands day 3, and today we were supposed to be discussing my monthly, weekly, and daily calendars and what their uses are for. So later in the video, you'll see a brief description of the calendars, but I wanted to go into greater detail. So the monthly calendars is for like basic monthly things like birthdays, holidays, general information. I know that there's like days on there, weeks, but I only have a very small little square for each day. So I put as much information into one little square as I could. And then on the fridge, along with the monthly calendar, is my daily/weekly calendar that's broken up into 4 blocks in each day of the week. And that has more details of each day, not as much as I'd like, but it basically does an outline of each day, and it highlights mostly my meal plan and each day of the week's cleaning schedule, along with basic information about the school day, and also like things like shopping if I'm going shopping that day, birthdays. And you'll also notice that when you see my calendars, when I show them, there's little red hearts. That's during my cycle days. It's pretty explanatory, but I just thought I'd share that just in case somebody's like, why do you put red hearts once in a while for 7 to 9 days? Because that's my cycle days, 7 to 9 days a month. But yes, you'll see those on all the calendars. And that's just so that I can keep track of that kind of stuff. Mostly because sometimes I'm not very nice during that period, and I don't know if I don't record my cycle, I won't know if I was on then. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I've been working on not being like that, but it helps when I know when I have. Anyway, let's just not discuss that right now. That's another topic for another time. Could be part of fruit of her hands if I decided to add in submission and kindness, which is the fruit of the spirit. So we might discuss that at another time. I'm trying to flow through each topic as it naturally flows. So we went from tidying as you go to cleaning schedule to now calendars, which is the natural progression of that kind of topics, and tomorrow's meal planning. So that's going to be exciting. Meal planning is a good tips and tricks, don't you think? So as I was saying, the daily/weekly broken down into 4 blocks a day, which is morning, early afternoon, early evening, and then evening. We broke it down into basics of each day because I don't have a lot of space to put everything, as I said. So I had to put the most important things that I wanted on there. You know what I mean? So that's what's there. Then I have my daily/weekly calendar book, which goes into my purse, and it comes with me wherever I go because I always need it with me. It holds things like my shopping list. Sometimes if I have things to do outside the house and I have to go somewhere to get a birthday present or something, then I have that with me at all times. So that's what that's for. Also, it has more information in it, like not just birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and things of that nature, but it has other things too, like notes, reminders, goals for each week, and it also has to-do lists on one side. And it just tells me that week if I have certain bills, blah, blah, blah. Even the meal plan that I set out for each week is in there. Then I have the homeschooling, the 2 homeschooling calendars. The first one is the weekly homeschooling calendar, which has the basics of each week lesson plan, which helps me remember what I'm supposed to be writing down for the daily homeschooling lesson plan. And then the daily homeschool lesson plan calendar is more detailed. It has every single subject that we go through that particular day of that particular week. And so it breaks it down very nicely. And sometimes if I can remember, I put in there things like the spelling words that I used that week, or the hymnal that we sang each day that week, because there's certain themes that I've been doing with the book of Proverbs that I'm going through, and then the book of Ecclesiastes for the last portion of the school year. So there's themes that go along with those, and those themes have hymnals with them, which is strange. And it also gives you verses that go along with those hymnals, so those become our memory verse for the week. Cool, eh? Yeah, kind of just flows together, like I said. Another thing that these calendars do is outline things like, depending on if I feel like it, and we have enough time, we do crafts. Now those crafts can look in all different kinds of ways. Like sometimes I do the cut and paste crafts. Sometimes we do the coloring crafts. Sometimes we do just drawing out our favorite Bible story or something that happened that week or that day, or our favorite animal, or sometimes it'll be crafting a story or whatever. It could be anything, right? So sometimes I write down specific crafts for that day of that week, and sometimes it just reminds me that we're going to be doing crafts. So as you'll see later with the calendars, that there is certain section for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday crafts, and there isn't anything particular because mostly we've just been coloring and drawing and writing, and whatever we think to do, we do. I know it looks like it's a lot, but it's actually not at all. When you start doing it this way, it seems overwhelming for those who aren't used to it. But because I have OCD, this is the perfect routine, and it's the perfect way of flowing properly. If I had like a sheet of paper with it all cluttered into like little tiny words, I wouldn't be able to read it, which is why I had to spread it out between 5 different calendars. And this way I can see it where I need it, and they're always with me. For instance, the daily homeschooling and weekly homeschooling calendars are together with me in the place where we do homeschooling, which is in the dining room area. And then I have the monthly and daily / weekly calendar on the fridge, which helps me with the daily stuff that I do around the kitchen and the house. And then I have the other one, the calendar book, in my purse. See? It just kind of just flows together for me. You know what I mean? And it also helps me remember things like if I have a particular recipe I want to do that week, I can just write it down in my calendar book, the daily / weekly one that I have in my purse. And then I do a sticky note and I put it somewhere on the daily / weekly one that's on the fridge. Done. See? It does. It helps and it works. And those with OCD would understand this better than those who don't have OCD, because, and it does look pretty overwhelming and like a lot of work, but it's really not a lot of work. I actually enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it so much that I have stacks of these calendar slips that I pull off each week to make a new one, stacked up in a folder. And I have them stacked in a folder for the year. So each year I put those in a separate folder for that particular year. And I believe when I did the homeschooling blog, I shared the stack of last year's calendars slips, and there will be so many more this year because I had to add an extra calendar this year because last year's weekly calendar wasn't doing it for me, so I needed a daily homeschooling calendar with the weekly calendar. But you do this through trial and error, and so it just works out nicely for me and our family because it keeps everything flowing, and the machine doesn't shut down and it doesn't slow down. It just keeps going because everything is so neatly, intricately rolling smoothly. Another thing is that you'll see on the daily homeschooling lesson plan calendar on Fridays, it says park time if weather permits. But I do park time even on like regular days at 3 p.m. after school because that's when their friends show up after their school day. And if it's a nice day, I don't see why they can't just go to the park and play with their friends. It's good socialization considering that they're not in a public school setting. They do need that peer association for socialization and social cueings that they learn through interactions with other children. So we do go to the park on nice days daily, and sometimes in the spring and summer days it's not uncommon for us to be there to do a whole school day at the park. Last year I did, a whole week we spent at the park last year. But they were learning things like, because there was construction people, so we were using it as a learning experience of like work experience basically. So they were watching and observing what the construction people were doing. And then I had them writing out what they saw and observed. And also they did things like explore the neighborhood, and we found like different types of trees and bushes and flowers. And they even found 3 different kinds of caterpillars, and we discussed what kind of butterfly or moth would come from those caterpillars. And we saw like different kinds of birds, and we tried to figure out what kind of birds they were. So we take any opportunity and any chance we get to learn whatever we can through the neighborhood around us and what we're doing. So it's not like they're just sitting at home doing bookworm stuff all day, but most of the time it is kind of like that because we are on a lesson plan that I've kind of structured from the beginning of the year. It's just, I like them to have an imagination, so I try to promote them having an imagination. And today I found it very cute that not just me, but both boys, when they packed their bag to go to the park today, that they added books, pencils, and a diary or journal. Mine's the diary, but theirs is a journal. And they brought their journals, their pens and pencils, and 2 reading books. Because that's what I would do if I went to the park. They see my bookcase, if you want to say it like that, my book bag, where I have 2 reading books, usually a Bible and then like a woman's study guide of some sort. Last year was The Power of the Transformed Wife. This year it's Created to Be His Helpmeet. And then I have my journal with me, or my diary, so that I can write down what I've learned from the Bible and or the women's study guide that I'm using in particular. And I have also my pencil case that has pens and pencils and things of this nature because I like to color code everything and blah, 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 blah. But I thought it was really interesting that they're starting to now carry books with them. That's how I started when I was younger. I would carry, I was a Nancy Drew reader and also Sherlock Holmes. So I would have those books with me when I would go around outside and they would be in my backpack, and I just carry them with me. That's probably why my back is pretty strong. But yeah, I used to carry books all the time in my backpack. I would carry them everywhere. I remember even as a teenager, I would have books in my backpack that I would carry everywhere. I would have like a big book for like a diary, and then I'd have 2 reading books at all times because I loved reading, and I still do love reading. So I'm glad that the boys have observed that I like reading, so naturally they are now liking to read. Today, Lucas was reading a book, and Logan was reading one of his books. And I just like that they naturally just want to read now. As they get older, they're starting to want to explore their minds through reading. And I suppose that it also helps that I do not let them play on the tablet or Xbox or watch too much TV. That they want to do something else to stimulate their minds, so they go and read, which is better for them in the long run, I believe, because we were poor, so we didn't have like TV, and we did have video games, but we were only allowed to play on Saturdays, and it was after our Saturday morning cartoons, so we weren't allowed to play any other time but Saturdays. So during the week, when I didn't have anything to do, like video games or whatever, watching TV or whatever, I would read. And that's how I got into the habit of carrying books with me all the time to read, because, yeah. I'm hoping that I raised some nerds too, because I was a nerd, and I'm still quite nerdy. I can see that Lucas is quite the nerd like me, and Logan is following suit very, very much behind Lucas. Mostly Logan likes to write screenplays, doesn't he, baby? And he's really good at it. I didn't know. He never even seen a screenplay before, but he can write them. Like he's been doing it all of his life. It's really strange and cute and amazing. And Lucas, he likes to write his feelings. So that's how I started. I started writing my feelings, and then I did little short stories here and there about things that I wanted to happen in my head. And then after that, I started making up stories. And I did write out a whole story once, but it wasn't very good because it didn't have very much details other than like people talking to each other and certain situations happen, and then it wasn't very descriptive like a normal novel, but it was a story, and I really liked it. I can't remember where I put it and if it's still around somewhere, but it's probably long gone now. Anyway, so they're learning to be that way now, and it's cool. It's really cool. So as you can see with the calendars, in these clips here, I did a small description of each one, and then we just went through the bigger details of them and what their sole purpose is. It's just to make sure that the week and day flow nicely together, so it's easier for me. And because one calendar can't fit every single thing that I need, I had to split it up between 5 different calendars, and I wanted 2 for homeschooling alone, because that is very, very important, and the lesson plans that I do are very, very detailed, so I really needed to have 2 for that. Then I have 2 other calendars, monthly and daily/weekly, on the fridge for meal plans and cleaning schedule, and also laundry days and my blog days if I'm doing a blog and things of that nature. And then I have my calendar book, which comes with me everywhere, which holds things like grocery shopping list and or any reminders that I might need to know for that week and particular day. So there's that. And I thought that was perfect. Oh, by the way, did it download? So we'll transfer it later because I have the little gig stick over here. Anyways, so yeah, so I thought that this would be helpful for maybe those out there who are like, how do I organize my week that one calendar can't do? Or how do I organize my day that one calendar can't do? And where do I find a daily calendar that I could possibly do it with? Well, the dollar store has this one that I'm using for the homeschooling, the daily homeschooling lesson plan. But you could take that and use it for anything of your week or day or whatever. It has quite a bit of space on there. Pardon? That's really nice. It's beautiful. So you could take that and use it for something else. I have to actually get a new one because I'm running out of sheets on this one. I'm going to have to go and get another one this month for the homeschooling lesson plan outline. But you could use it for other things too. I use the bigger one that's on the fridge for my daily / weekly stuff for the week of the home. And then I use the smaller one that has bigger blocks for the day for homeschooling lesson plan because it has just enough space for all the lesson plan that I need for one day. And as you'll see in the little clips here of it, I have Mondays very easy and simple and Fridays because, first of all, Monday is the hardest day of the week for me to get back into the groove after the weekend and having an extra 2 hours sleep. So I really need to get the first day simple. It has to be simple for me for the first day. And then Tuesday is a warm up, and then Wednesday we get a little heavy, and then Thursday's the heaviest, and then Friday is just test day. We just do tests on Friday. And it's like the shortest day because it's literally only an hour. Mondays are like 2 hours at the most, 2 hours and a half, and then Fridays is just an hour because of testing. And then the day's over. So I think Fridays is my favorite day because, well, it's the shortest. But anyway, that is for Fruit of Her Hands Day 3, monthly / weekly / daily calendar routine, schedule routine. I don't remember what I named it, but something like that. I thought that this was wonderful for those who just wanted to know how I flow, and this is how I flow. So that's a beautiful sunrise. That's a sunrise, right? Thought so. And we had curry tonight because that was on the schedule. And tomorrow's fried rice, like on the schedule. So you can see meal plan there. Yeah. It's just flowing normal, like usual. This is my school lesson week plan. Daily lesson plan. Look at this. Very detailed, right? Look at this. It's beautiful. Very, very detailed. Every single day has lots of stuff. Thursdays is the hardest one because there's so much to do. And then Friday is the easiest. It's just a test, so it's just 1 hour. So the boys like Fridays. Then we go to the park. And every single day that's nice. During the week we go to the park too. But Friday we get to spend more time at the park, if you know what I mean. So yeah. And they're learning 3 different languages currently. They're learning Spanish, Greek, and Hebrew. So yeah, for those who said that my kids are going to grow up to be stupid because I'm homeschooling them, no, they're going to be smarter than your kids. Sorry to say. Not sorry to say, actually. Anyway, I hope that everybody had a wonderful Thursday, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning in my stories. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and see you tomorrow, Friday. Sayonara, everybody. Have a good night. Good night. Sleep tight. See you tomorrow. Later for now.